Alastor versus Stolas. Who would win a one-on-one fight? Both of these characters are very powerful in their verse and high-ranked in its hierarchy. This fight is pretty popular with mixed opinions, with people saying Stolas wins and that Alastor wins. Even VivziePop isn't sure on who would win. So, who would actually win? Well, let's find out. But before we start, let's go ahead and talk about the hierarchy that everyone uses in this argument and why it's stupid. The hierarchy comes from this interview. VivziePop never mentioned anything about strength and other factors, and goes on to further clarify that the hierarchy is a socially economic one. For an example she gave, she said that imps and hellhounds are supposed to represent the low class and lower middle class that get jobs like factory workers. If you disagree, riddle me this: hellhounds are at the bottom of the hierarchy, which should mean they're the weakest, right? But they are shown to be security guards for Ars Goetias, like Stolas, and for famous stars like Verosica. Why would the weak be working as security guards? It's counterintuitive, don't you think? Stryker's whole character revolves around the idea that the imp class doesn't mean you're weak. To imply that the hierarchy is socially economic, VivziePop placed Charlie above the deadly sins, not because she's stronger, but because she's next to the throne, the heir. Alastor and the has-been hotel pilot destroyed Sir Pinchas's ship, which was calculated to anywhere from multi-city block to small town level. However, his attack potency can get way higher by scaling him to Vox. Vox in his song with Alastor wiped out power in the pride ring out of anger. This was calculated anywhere from town level, city level, or even large mountain level, far higher from his small town feat. Alastor, for his speed, should be superior to the IMP cast, who can combat at high hypersonic speed. He should also scale above Adam, as he casually outpaced him in his fight. Adam was able to keep up with characters, like Lucifer, that dodge his light beams. This was calculated to be around 46% the speed of light, or relativistic. Although later in his fight, he couldn't dodge Adam's light attack that broke his cane, so he should downscale to this. So overall, Alastor has small town to large mountain level attack potency and high hypersonic to sub-relativistic speed. But how does his opponent compare? Stolas doesn't have as much concrete feats as Alastor, but despite that, he does have one of the best attack potency feats in the verse. This feat consists of Stolas splitting open the sky in a harvest moon festival. This feat was calculated anywhere from large mountain to island level, being above Alastor's feats. For his speed, he should be superior to the IMP cast, who combat at high hypersonic speed, but it can get far higher. In his Lullaby to Octavia, Stolas was able to fly from the moon, all the way back to a portal he created. This was calculated to be 2.9 times the speed of light, far above Alastor. Overall, Stolas' attack potency is large mountain to island level, and for speed, is faster than light, FDL. Well, there it is. Stolas scales higher than Alastor, so he wins, right? Well, not really. There's other factors that needs to be brought into play. Maybe Alastor has cards in the playing field that can get him an upper hand over Stolas. Alastor, in short, has much more combat experience than Stolas. He fought Adam, outdid him in combat, and even called him sloppy. Supposedly fought Vox, who likely had help, and overlords who dominated Hell for centuries. VivziePop herself stated in a stream that Alastor has martial arts and is a fighter. Stolas has barely any combat experience. We have never seen him in combat, other than if he is in extreme danger or if a loved one is in danger. He tends to rely on bodyguards and Blitzo to make sure that he's safe. In addition, he was captured by Stryker quite easily, with him not being able to dodge a lasso. As a sinner, Alastor can only truly be killed by angelic weapons. He also has access to these angelic weapons and uses them to wipe out large numbers of opponents. But he does have some disadvantages. He has a strange ethical code against following or chasing people. And finally, his cane. Alastor's standard equipment is his cane, that holds his power, and therefore, if it's broken, he gets severely weakened. Stolas has been described by Blitzo multiple times on how he can't be killed without angelic weapons, which is why Stryker had blessed weapons to take him down. Stolas regularly carries his book, which allows him to use extremely powerful spells or powers, and without it, he's extremely limited and weak. Not only that, Stolas doesn't tend to take fights very seriously and is lenient, unless he's truly irritated. This offers a massive disadvantage for him when facing a strong opponent such as Alastor. He will not take fighting Alastor seriously, and this in turn can get him in a bad position early on. People tend to bring up that Alastor lost to Vox, as Valentino stated Alastor almost beat Vox, but lost as an anti-feat. First off, if Vox won the fight, why would he be mad? Also, later in the song, Alastor stated that Vox would be powerless without the other Vs, so Vox most likely had help. Another anti-feat people bring up is that Adam beat Alastor. First of all, angels like Adam are not comparable to the Ars Goetias and have vastly different powers. And second, in context of Has-Been Hotel, this is a good feat for Adam and not an anti-feat for Alastor. In this live stream, someone asked Vivzipop the question discussed in this video: who is more powerful and would win in a fight? Vivzipop would end up answering Stolas, but in Alastor's defense, Vivzipop said that their powers are different and that the question has never crossed her mind until that point, so it's not really much as a finisher and slam dunk to the debate. Alastor's best ability is that he can summon and use his shadow monsters and tentacles to attack from far away and catch opponents off guard. He also has a giant force field that can cover a large building-level circumference. He also has a larger demon form if any fights get more serious than he intended. Stolas' abilities are much different to Alastor's. One of the notable ones is his petrification ability, which can freeze imps into stone and leave them helpless. He can create portals, but like Adam, he uses them to get to point A and to point B. He also has necromancy, as he controlled dead bodies, but would be pretty useless when there's no dead, physical bodies around. Finally, he has a demon form, like Alastor, when he gets irritated. After everything discussed in this video, who would actually win between these two? Let's look at the stats. Stolas scales a little higher than Alastor, but isn't as battle intelligent and experienced, and has more disadvantages and weaknesses that can be exploited. Alastor, on the other hand, scales a little lower than Stolas, but is more battle intelligent and experienced, and has more exploits that he can use. For their abilities, I don't see Stolas as being as helpful than Alastor's. Sure, they are cool, but I don't really know how they would work against Alastor, especially his petrification ability. I overall see Alastor's being more useful than Stolas, as they are better for fighting and can offer more advantages. So overall, I see Alastor winning mid-difference. If you have any different opinions or stuff that would like to discuss, you can go to the comments section and say it there. I also plan on scaling other characters, like Adam, but that's for another time. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Insanity out. Okay, so this video was made back in September and through October, which Ghostfuckers and Mastermind weren't out yet. As seen in those episodes, we saw a new ability for Stolas that can possibly give him a huge advantage in this debate. Stolas in Mastermind was shown to have some sort of manipulation to block an axe that was about to chop Blitzo's head off, and was able to cut chains quite easily. This can offer Stolas a way to break Alastor's cane from long distances in a very easy manner. However, Alastor can swing with much more force than this demon can, so he can probably break through it and injure Stolas. And with his reflexes, he can probably get the cane away from this magic before it can have a chance to destroy his cane. Either way, this ability changes the way this battle can go. Alastor's only chance to prevent it from breaking his cane is to protect his cane from being easily broken. So with this, who wins? I might still have to go Alastor high to extreme difficulty, but if it was depowered Stolas, he would one-shot. Insanity out for real this time.